Everyone's heard of the fictional creature known as the Hito, haven't they? And there are apparently some among us, known as Hitoners, who feel love toward these creatures. They are weak yet cunning monsters in fantasy, appearing in both mythology and folk tales alike.
Hey, what is that? What's what?
But the reason why these minor, fictional creatures suddenly attracted so much attention happened around a month ago. When a single Hito, a race once thought to exist only in stories, emerged from a metal cage after plummeting smack dab into our lake. My name is Tonalika, and I'm press secretary for the Beastkin federal government. I am currently overseeing public relations for the special council that will be deciding on how this creature's unprecedented arrival shall be dealt with in a legal sense. It has been dubbed Hito-01, an unknown species to us which defies the very foundation of our understanding of biology. Its appearance is quite hair-raising. Its body resembles that of a mucous membrane, seemingly incapable of growing much hair besides its head. Where could such a vulgar creature have originated? I simply can't understand how Hitoners can stomach the thing. What's most distinctive of its kind is that strange skeletal structure. Like us, it stands upright. However, our postures become more curved as our body sizes increase. 01, on the other hand, stands perfectly straight, despite being much taller than Chemo of similar weight.
Put me down! I was not asking to be lifted! Down, I say!
Our chief of research, Dr. Drill, has dubbed this phenomenon true bipedalism. Although I'd say this choice of wording requires some correction. It implies that we Chemo must somehow be inferior to Hito. Additionally, there was one other point of its skeletal structure which the doctor took an interest in. Its hands. In particular, the breadth of motion it boasts from shoulder to tip, as well as the extreme precision with which it may use its long and slender fingers. Essentially, it possesses high-performance forelimbs capable of handling tools similar to our own. It may even be as skilled as we are with them. To test this, we had it grasp a pen. With its high intelligence, it was immediately able to recognize the sort of tool it was holding, and imitated what one might use it for, specifically, writing. However, it was of course nothing more than an imitation, as it was only able to produce nonsensical letters. The doctor interpreted these letters as being 01's own unique language and had intended to try and analyze them. But surely he has overestimated the creature. There is no world in which it could be capable of the same things we are. The doctor may be slightly too invested in this. When you view it through our theory of evolution, such a bizarre creature should be... As I came out of our encounter victorious, I have determined the hands of this Hito to be nothing worthy of note. Finally, let us address its skin. This would be where we differ the most as species. Outside of its head, its bare skin is entirely hairless. Getting a closer look at it only confirms my feelings of disgust. The texture of it is something similar to our paw pads, and the idea of a creature made up entirely of those should convey its abnormality quite swiftly. Had I not been required to touch it for work, I don't think I would have ever done so. While its body temperature should be slightly lower than ours, it's much warmer to the touch due to its lack of insulating body hair.
Miss Tonalika! Miss Tonalika!
My exhaustion must have gotten the better of me after so many days of continuous inspections. Moving on, Dr. Drill finally came up with a hypothesis on why Hito may have evolved to look the way they do.
This may be a result of a need to reduce their body temperature. We are evolutionally in the midst of this ourselves. As beasts evolved into Chemo, their postures became more upright, resulting in them being further away from the ground. Thus did it become easier for them to regulate their body temperature, culminating in a decrease in body hair. The biggest advantage we have for being able to release body heat is that we're able to cool our brains, which are susceptible to overheating. As such, the evolutionary reason behind Hito being both bipedal and hairless would be a desire to gain more high-functioning brains.
That makes sense. Wait.
Does that logic not then conclude that Hito are further along the evolutional chain than we Chemo are? I mean, really, with our interim report conference looming, we must refrain from making inferences that might cause unnecessary controversy.
Miss Tonelica, I only know this as a common trope used in stories. But apparently, if you let a Hito pet you, you'll feel so overwhelmingly good that you might even faint. Is that, true?
What good would it do for us to verify something like that? Don't tell me you all are Hitoners.
No,
This should be obvious without any need to look further into it, but there is absolutely no chance that being pet by such a bizarre creature could feel good. We completed the diagram of the Hoto. Its clothing was included so as to spare the public from any possible negative impacts that its bare skin might cause. Its hands have been found to be virtually identical to genitals, and thus have been censored out. As you can see, while there are many unique aspects to the Hito's physical functions, its 5 senses apart from sight, as well as its muscle strength, are all significantly inferior to us Chemo. Our current assessment is that Hito are the lesser creatures.
I thought it'd be like some kind of invader or something. Oh man, that's so boring.
It looks like it's just as weak as we thought it'd be.
An amusing report you gave there, Miss Tonelica.
Director Leon.
Proper discipline is required when dealing with unidentified creatures. You must make sure they're aware of which of you is further up the food chain, so to speak. However, I can only imagine how much stress you've been under lately, having to observe such a wretched, unevolved monster day in and day out. If it had even a shred of intelligence, to feel shame, I couldn't imagine it wanting to go on living in that body.
He is exceptionally intelligent, and our daily interactions have held much meaning. Our observations are proceeding, so you needn't worry on my account. Dr. Drill?
I'm surprised to see you taking such offense to others speaking that way, after you'd insisted on treating 01 as inferior yourself.
That was nothing of the sort!
While I understand it may be frustrating, this will have to do for now, so long as we can continue to accumulate objective data. Even those pretentious directors will have no choice but to cease their disrespect eventually.
6 days after resuming observations, things took a massive leap. Hello, Miss Tonelita. My name is Hitoshi Kanashiki. My job is to travel to other planets. Thank you. In an attempt to find a method of communication, we set out to teach him our writing system. But I'd never imagined he might be able to communicate with us so clearly. He managed to learn the words to actually tell us his name. The inspection team went into a frenzy, selecting words and grammar for him to memorize that might assist in exchanging general knowledge and basic history. Dr. Drill ended up so engrossed in writing back and forth with him that he neglected his actual work as a scholar. 3 days after we began written communication, 01, henceforth known as Hitoshi, was able to give us information on where he came from. Originally, this was our greatest mystery surrounding him, but we hadn't dreamed we'd learn the answer to it from his own mouth. Regardless, he informed us that he'd come here from a far-off planet, upon a ship, though I wasn't sure how believable this was, considering how unbelievable the idea of living beings being capable of that felt. However, were it to be true, it would mean that his people's scientific and technological advancements could dwarf ours entirely.
Miss Tonelka, your reports have been at a standstill. Have you run into trouble?
Of course not! The required administrative procedures have only increased, adding to the time needed. You've nothing to worry about!
Ah, well, The people would like to have the monster's powerlessness confirmed sooner rather than later. I appreciate how thorough you've been, but please try not to keep them waiting.
6 days after we began written communications, Dr. Driller collapsed. It was due to overwork. He'd been so engrossed in reading Hitoshi's space journals that he'd forgotten to sleep. While he was unable to learn speech, likely due to a difference in our vocal cords, he was able to understand our words, and thus our method of communicating reached near perfection. We kept the doctor up to date with letters while he remained in bed. However, I have something I must confess. I believe I've come to fear him. Whether I like it or not, I understand now that he's far more intelligent than we are. He is not a cultureless, solitary creature in this world. Should he have the same sensitivity and social understanding as we do? What must he think of the way we've treated him thus far? Surely he must resent us. It would not be inconceivable for him to be considering retaliation. Were he to call upon his comrades from home to wage war against us, we would surely be... In any case, my fear of him is so great that I can't bring myself to look his way.
The first round of inspections have been cancelled, and an emergency decision has been made out of consideration for the people's safety.
What?
Did you perhaps not hear me clearly? 01 is to be put down.
But... why?
It seems to have carried harmful pathogens with it onto our planet. This is likely the reason why Dr. Drill collapsed.
That has not been confirmed! If it were so, others on our team would also have suffered the same ill effects!
You're correct. This is merely a formality for the higher-ups, considering the reason doesn't truly matter. That monster cannot remain here! It is far more advanced than us, Chemo!
That doesn't make it okay to... I know you've been worried these past few days, but I'd never...
This is a matter of keeping our entire race safe! Those on top always come for the ones below them!
We are a law-believing society of structure and order! We cannot simply execute someone without going through the proper channels!
Execution is a term reserved for Chemo! This is a disposal! So long as we finish this before the people learn the truth of it, no problem should arise!
You can't be showing up out of the blue and throwing yourself on the ground like that. Your suit's gonna get all wrinkled. Who cares? Just leave me be.
Hey, sis. Is it true you're a Hitoner now?
Don't make me punch you.
Ooh, scary! A letter's been sent from your office, you know. Some Hitoshi guy.
To Miss Press Secretary Tono Lika. I get the feeling that the observations will be winding down soon, and may even be over by the time you receive this letter.
However, as there are still things I'd like to tell you, I've decided on writing to you and the doctor. The goal of my journey was to explore regions of space which humankind had yet to set foot in. I left my home behind, knowing it almost certainly would no longer be there if I ever found a way back, and went into a deep sleep in order to weather the years it would take to get here, in the hopes of finding a planet that we couldn't even be sure truly existed. Thus was the journey I undertook. The most likely outcome was that I would perish alone in the void, cursing ever having left my planet in the first place. So I'll never forget the joy I felt when your towns came into view. And I saw there were people waiting for me. You all taught me that we weren't alone in this universe. That even despite how far you were from us, we had neighbors out there. I'm not sure how I appear to you all, but I love you with all of my heart. I'm officially a Chemoner.
A Chemoner?
No no matter what happens from here on out. I am truly proud to have met you. Thank you for everything.
This concludes my look behind the curtain at what we've experienced in our interactions with Hitoshi. As press secretary for the Beastkin federal government, no! As simply Tonolaika! A single chemo who speaks before the entire population of our planet in the hopes that she can save a single friend!
You imbecile! Do you have any idea what you're doing?
Hitoshi is currently being held captive without food at the director's command. He's all alone in that room, with no way to return home, and no promise of ever seeing another Hito like him again. He knew the perils and still risked his life on this one-way journey, in the hopes of finding a new world! Since the day he arrived, he said nothing against our unfair treatment of him, and instead learned our words in an earnest attempt to communicate. He was always adjusting himself to match us and treat us accordingly. Because, at the end of his long journey, he saw us as neighbors. And for us to treat him, to treat a friend who'd come far across space like he has with such disrespect, simply because his body differs from ours, because his species differs from ours, because we may not like that he's further along in an evolutionary sense. Any country that leaves him to die alone like this could never consider themselves civilized. We would be no better than beasts as ourselves. Were we to forsake this man, then we would have regressed back to our primitive ancestors!
Like hell we should be allowing that monster among us!
Hit owners are morally bankrupt! She's just some hit owner! You're supposed to be a public servant!
Aren't you hit owners ashamed of yourselves?
What the hell's so bad about being a Hitoner? It ain't your damn business! Didn't you get anything from what I just told you? I love the guy!
Calm down, Lady Tonelica!
Who the hell gave you the authority to judge others based on who they love?
Out! I mean... Please step out. Mr. Hitoshi Kanashima.
Hey there. Sorry things took so long. You're a tough one, still being able to walk like that.
Sir Hitoshi Kanashima, we hereby temporarily recognized you as an official diplomat of the planet known as Earth, and grant you permission to remain within our borders indefinitely.
The Beastkin Commonwealth has made the decision to reclassify Hito as simply being chemo from another planet, granting you equality in the eyes of the law.
You will never again be subjected to such disrespect!
So, we'll be working together, from here on out, Hitoshi.
Tonelica? Thank you.
You can't just say stuff like that! Stop laughing at me!